made him think of that childhood dream he had. And so when he seen her, he fell in love instantly. Next thing you know, even though he had no real medical training, he just was an x-ray technician. He started making house visits to help with her sickness because Helen's health was fading rapidly. Now, at her house, he started telling her he was in love with her. He started buying her jewelry, clothes, and everything. And despite all the help and the effort from all the doctors, they tried everything to try to heal her. Helen ended up dying. And Carl, he told the family he would pay for the funeral. And with their permission, he would build a above ground mausoleum for her. Now, after the family agreed and was thankful for what he did for building that mausoleum, Helen's mom even gave Carl some of Helen's hair as a memento. Now, he built the mausoleum, but here's the crazy part. He became obsessed, and he would go and visit her every night for almost two years. His obsession became so crazy that one night he went to the mausoleum and he said he heard Helen's voice singing to him in Spanish and telling him to get her out of the tomb. Now, that's when he went up there in the middle of the night with a toy wagon and secretly removed her body and took her back to his house. Now, once he got her back to the house, he wanted to make her body look realistic again because over the 2 years she's been dead, her flesh and all that was decayed and disgusting looking. That's when he used wire and coat hangers to reattach her bones together, stuffed a bunch of rags inside her body to make it look normal to the right proportions, and for her skin, he used silk, wax, and plaster, and then put glass eyes in her sockets. He then made a wig for her from the hair that the mother had gave him. Like I said earlier, she gave him some hair as a memento. And then he dressed her up in jewelry, stockings, and put gloves on her. And to get rid of the decomposing funky smell, he used all types of disinfectants and perfumes and laid her right beside him in the bed every night. Wow. That's crazy, man. Now check this though. He even stuck a paper tube up her vagina so he can have sex with her. Shaking my head, man. People are sick, man. Now, he was doing this for 7 years until Helen's sister named Florinda started hearing rumors about Carl dancing with a life-size doll with his windows open at his house and that he was sleeping with her sister. That's when she went to the house and saw it with her own eyes. She called the police and had him arrested, trying to have him charged for destroying a grave and removing a body without authorization. But here's the crazy part. The statute of limitations for grave robbing for him had already expired, so the charges were dropped. I guess it's a certain time or something. I don't know, many years go by. I guess the charges will get dropped or something and you can't get in trouble for grave robbing or something like that. After that, the family decided to put Helen's body on display at a funeral home, and over 6,800 people came to visit and view. Plus she had bronchitis. But see, during that time though, Nell was out of control with her drug problem though. Even though she was making about $50,000 a week from the show, she would buy up to $2,000 worth of cocaine a day, drinking and doing coke all night till about 3 a.m. every day. I mean, it got so bad to the point that she wouldn't even show up to the set And one time, staff had to break into her house where they found her on the floor unconscious, and they sent her to rehab for weeks to clean up. But she just couldn't stay away from the drugs and continued going in and out of rehab. She also started gaining a lot of weight from the drugs and drinking, which was making her feel depressed, causing her to overeat. By 1983, the show Give Me Your Break was hot on the ratings, but Nell was dealing with a lot of demons at the time and ended up getting separated from her husband that year. Feeling suicidal, Nell ended up taking a whole bottle of sleeping pills with a bottle of wine before going to see her friend, Liza Minnelli, perform in London. When Liza Minnelli seen her, she made arrangements to put Nell in rehab ASAP. After that rehab, Nell came out sober and had lost over 90 pounds. She didn't do drugs anymore, but she did gain a lot of her weight back. And by that time, NBC had new shows on the network that was taking off, like The Cosby Show, Cheers, and Family Ties. The ratings for Give Me Your Break were declining, so they wanted to add new cast members like Rosie O'Donnell, who played Maggie O'Brien in 11 episodes. Now, it was reported that Rosie O'Donnell and Nell Carter didn't get along because Nell felt Rosie O'Donnell was hogging scenes and taking the focus off her. In 1987, NBC pulled the plug on the show Give Me a Break after 6 seasons, so Nell went back to the nightclubs with a 5-month national tour with comedian Joan Rivers. 2 years later, after the show was canceled, her brother, who she was very close to, died from AIDS, which hurt her real bad. But after that, her and her husband, who was separated at the time, decided to get back together because they wanted a child. But she ended up having 3 miscarriages, and in frustration, she blamed her husband, which led to them finalizing their divorce. Realizing she couldn't have kids, she decided to adopt 2 baby boys. And 6 months later, after her divorce from her first husband, Nell got married again to a record producer named Roger LaRock. But a year later, they ended up getting divorced. Plus, her grandmother, who raised her back in her hometown, passed away. Now, everything that was going on in her life at that time was taking a toll on her, and she started getting a lot of headaches that was so bad it would make her cry. After checking into the hospital, she found out that she needed to have surgery for 2 brain aneurysms, and she also suffered from type 2 diabetes because at the time she was weighing over 300 pounds. After that, happy to be alive and ready to change her life, she got back to work. She appeared in the TV show Hanging with Mr. Cooper with Mark Curry, and she provided voiceovers for several characters in Bebe's Kids with Robin Harris. In the 2000s, she made an appearance on the show Reba and Ally McBeal. But see, she also had to the Broadcasting and Cable Hall of Fame, and in 1997, he received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. In 2001, he married a young Russian model named Victoria Chapman. And by that time, Soul Train was struggling to get big name artists to perform on the show. So in 2006, he stopped making new episodes and called it quits. Now in 2007, Don and his wife Victoria separated, accusing him with domestic abuse after she allegedly pepper sprayed him multiple times. In 2008, after turning down offers to sell his show for years, he decided to sell the Soul Train franchise to Mad Vision Entertainment, a multimedia company specializing in branded urban content and production. Now in 2009, Don was sentenced to 3 years probation after pleading no contest to misdemeanor spousal battery with his ex-wife. Now see, when that divorce finally was settled, Don had to pay $10,000 a month in spousal support, buy his ex-wife a home, and pay college tuition fees for his adopted daughter. Now after that, friends say that his poor health and his divorce to his ex-wife really took him down and drained his energy and his way of thinking. He went into a deep depression, and he was very unhappy, and there wasn't much anyone could do about it. One family member said that he didn't even want to give his wife a dime because she didn't earn none of that money. It came from all his hard work, and a lot of people told Don, don't marry her. And on February 1st, 2012, Don Cornelius called his son in the early hours, telling him he was just unhappy in life. His son rushed to his house and found Don wounded with a gunshot wound to his head. He called 911, and Don was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Now, police ruled out foul play because they didn't find a suicide note. Friends of Don Cornelius say he was dealing with demons and wasn't surprised he took his own life with a gunshot to the head. Now, see, Don did have 2 life insurance policies that were worth thousands of dollars, but in his divorce settlement agreement, Don had to make his ex-wife Victoria the beneficiary of both of his life insurance policies. Now check this, right? The breakdown of that policy agreement went like this. If the policyholder commits suicide within 2 years of the time the policy is issued, the insurance company can deny payment as stated by California law. Now see, Don Cornelius had the policy for more than 2 years, so his ex-wife Victoria Chapman ended up entitled to $300,000 in benefits.